is the heat exchanger and aftercooler maintenance kit I bought from Seaboard Marine. Overall, it looks like a pretty good kit. Comes with O-rings for the aftercooler, the new gaskets for the heat exchanger, new pencil zincs for the both the heat exchangers and the aftercoolers. And it also comes with grease to put the aftercooler back together, some penetrating oil to help get the aftercooler taken apart, and then some pipe thread sealant when we're putting it back together. Okay, I have the aftercoolers taken out. The shop recommended that I take it home, put it in a vise. I don't have a shop at home, so I'm trying this. I used a ratchet strap. I have it secured to the top here. I'm going to remove the top cover and the back cover here. We'll see. Okay, we're going to remove these bolts on the bottom. This is an 8mm Allen key here. That end pops right off. You can see in the tubes here, well, a lot of them are blocked or partially blocked. But I don't see too much corrosion up here around the top. This probably will come right out. We can see down into these tubes. Looks a lot cleaner on the top. I don't know if these aftercoolers have been taken apart before. They look in good shape. The tip to help take these apart is to put some penetrating oil. This is the penetrating oil that was sent with the kit that I purchased. I'm just going to put some of this around the top, let it set for a few hours, tip it over and do the back side and see if I can get this aftercooler taken apart. And we'll let that sit for a while and do the other side. Alright, I have the aftercooler here propped up on a couple pieces of wood on the bottom so the core can slide out, and I have a piece of wood on the top that I'm going to try to coerce this core to come on out of here. Alright, I was able to core out this far. Now I flipped the aftercooler over and I'll try to pull it out the rest of the way. there it is. It's to be expected. One side was kind of covered in this black junk and the other side is pretty clean. We're going to soak this spray it down with some brake cleaner in this tub and let it soak, and then we'll wash it out with some Simple Green. And then once the outside's clean, we'll make sure we clean the water tubes out, which they didn't start off too bad. I'm going to be using some low VOC non-chlorinated brake cleaner to start getting this gunk off here. I'm gonna let that sit for a while and then come back and fill this with Simple Green and let it soak. Get any of that grease and cleaner out of there. Alright, I transferred the cores into a 5-gallon bucket. It's going to work a lot better than that bin. So I got 1 gallon of Simple Green in there, filled it the rest of the way with hot water. I'm going to let these soak for several hours. You can already see a lot of the oil or carbon breaking out of there. While the cores soak, I'm going to spray these down and clean the inside. There's a fine layer of oil on the inside. I'm going to get those clean, and I'm going to clean the outsides. Get them ready to get the clean cores put back in. On one of these, there's a little bit of corrosion right here. I'm going to take care of that with some light sandpaper. Okay, we have our aftercoolers cleaned, wiped down the inside. They're dry. The core's clean. I let them dry overnight after soaking in Simple Green solution. The kit came with 2 different size gaskets. On our model, we're using the smaller gaskets. I'll start by lubing up the inside with some heavy-duty grease. The grease that came with the kit is a Alco metal lube. This is going to help with corrosion, and next time we take it out to clean it, it should slide right out. We're also going to put this grease on the inside of the caps. This is going to help prevent corrosion between the 2 different metal surfaces. It's also going to help form a seal. Now that we have the caps with a nice coat of oil on them, or grease, sorry, and install the new zincs that came with this kit. New zincs. Gonna put a little bit of pipe thread sealer on the threads. And I got some thread sealer on it. Just gonna thread it on in there. Alright, so I have a thin coat of grease on all the mated surfaces. Caps are greased as well. New zincs are put in. I'm going to slide the core in. The core goes a specific way. Notice this notch here, and there's an arrow on the core. You can see it right here. That arrow points towards that notch. Slide this core in. Alright, you can see the core's back in. Got a thin coat of grease all around it. Got a thin coat of grease on the caps. New zincs. Top of the aftercooler here. Same thing. Top cap. Now we're ready to install the caps. To install the caps, you're going to want to put a thin coat of grease on all the bolts before you put them back in. And remember not to tighten these too much. This is an aluminum housing. We don't want to strip it out. Now that the caps are both put on, got new zincs in, top and bottom. We'll wipe this grease off. Then I'm going to take this to a local radiator shop and have it pressure tested. Thought it was a good idea to get these pressure tested while they're out. It's pretty inexpensive since they're clean and put back together. It'll take less than an hour and they'll give me some peace of mind that they're ready to go.